All right. Good morning, everyone. Today on the T Podcast, we have a returning guest, Amber Gregg. She is the owner of 94 Feet Basketball, basically player development. I think it's 94 Feet Player Development is the official name, but she is a former UL Lafayette women's basketball coach, correct?
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about all that. We're going to be basically getting an update of where the company is today, kind of what you got going on from 6-7 months ago when we had you on last time. So hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. So welcome back to this crazy little thing that I have. How's it going today?
It's going good. You know, another day, another dollar is what I say. Yeah, another day, another dollar.
Well, all right. So yeah, blessed for sure. Same here. You've started this in 2021, and when we had you on, we basically dived into kind of what the business was about, and there may be some things that I'll need to get brushed up on, but for now, just kind of tell us a little bit about how the past 6 months have gone and where the business is today.
Incredible. I'll say this. I didn't know that the support and the love for the sport was as ingrained in Lafayette as it is. So 6-7 months ago, when we were just kind of getting our groove in, just kind of starting the process with some kids. Now we're 7 months with those kids, and you can start to see, you know, as they play high school basketball, as they play middle school basketball, even as they play biddy basketball, the improvements that they've made just being with us even for the last 6-7 months. So it's been fun to watch. Usually with player development, it's kind of hard to see the results right off the bat. Immediately. And so it's been good to be able to work with kids for a long period of time and kind of get to see them grow and learn and just shift the culture of basketball since we've been here.
Yeah. Awesome. So last time we talked, you did have a facility that you did all your training out of, right?
Yes.
And you're still in the same area?
Still in the same area.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah.
That's
all right. So for those that may have not listened to the past episode with you, kind of let's talk a little bit about what your company is and what the purpose is of the company. I know you kind of briefly touched on it, but essentially you are a basketball skill development company.
Yes.
So kind of what does that mean? You mentioned young kids and all that good stuff. Are adults included? Like, what is the company designed to do?
Focus on the skill development of basketball players in a short nutshell. I noticed I coached at UL for 6 years, and a lot of the times that I would go out recruiting, it wasn't the kids' grit and heart and effort and energy. That was always there. And I'm going to be honest, recruiting all over the country, Louisiana probably has the best, if not the best, kids that are the toughest, the grittiest, and that want it the most. But the lack of skill development and the lack of skill sets were present. I'm from Texas, Austin, Texas, where training is a normal thing, right? If you play sports, you're going to some sort of skill development training at least 2 or 3 times a week, just focusing on your specific skill. You know, you go to team practices, and team practices are great, but that's more focused on the team winning, right? The things that are needed to be done in a team setting. What we do is focus specifically on the player and their individual growth and their individual development as an individual player that helps them translate to the team setting and to the game. But when I was at UL, I just noticed that the lack of resources that Louisiana had to do that and to be able to give the kids that, they didn't have. So that's what we do, specifically focus on their skill development in the basketball area. But we do a lot of other things too, speed and agility, strength stuff. But the younger that we can start them, the better off, obviously, they will be.
So and I remember you being from Austin, Texas,
Yes.
and asking you, why do you live here versus there? And so you bought a house recently, right?
It's about 2 years ago now.
Okay, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So recently, in the housing market.
in the housing market, that's pretty recent. So you're here to stay though, from what it sounds like. I mean, buying a house, that's not like, hey, I'm just here to visit.
Yes.
So you're going to be ingrained in the community. That's what you're doing right now. Why Lafayette? I want to get back, I guess, to asking you that, because coming from Austin, everybody, like I said last time, it's been said that Lafayette was aspiring to be like another Austin, which I don't think that is where everybody really wants to go. And especially now, Austin has grown even more since a lot of that has been kind of the topic of conversation. So back to the question, why Lafayette? Why this particular area? Why not New Orleans?
Right.
Why not, someplace that has a more denser population like Baton Rouge to open up a basketball training facility?
Right. Well, I just say God placed me here. Right. I've been to New Orleans. I've been to Baton Rouge. Obviously, I play basketball all my life, so there's a big tournament every year in New Orleans that Kimberly Davis Powell runs with Nike UIBL. So got moved here and just, I'm going to be honest, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the culture, and saw the opportunity. I'm a grassroots kid. I know we kind of talked about that a little before, but my heart has always been in servant leadership, right? Serving the area that I'm around. And so to be able to do that in an environment that makes you feel like it's necessary and it's needed and it's appreciated. And not that I wouldn't be that in Austin, because it would be the same thing in Austin. Obviously, I'm from there. But it's just a smaller, tight-knit community that I feel like I can be more impactful. Okay. Especially with the kids around here. And so when I was ready to transition out of college basketball, I was in the process of buying a house. And so I was like, man, I'll just go ahead. It was my first house I was buying, a great area in Broussard. And so I just stuck with it. And after that, like, God has just kind of moved me in all directions. Now I travel a lot to train. And so I have other trainers that I've hired, one of them being Anthony Paris, who's incredible. If your kids haven't seen Anthony, they need to see them as soon as possible. But I have recently been on the road traveling a lot to train professional athletes, high school athletes. So it's been good, but Lafayette is just a special place. Like, that's how I describe it when I go home to people and they've never been. I'm like, you just got to go. Just like Austin is like super unique to the rest of the country. I think Lafayette is very, very special and near and dear to my heart just because of the things that it's brought into my life. Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier culture, and I think it's a lot of people's thing to try to figure out what is the culture in Lafayette. Mm-hmm. Like, what is it? Because we can kind of see in New Orleans the culture there, kind of put some type of finger on it. But when you talk about Lafayette, what are you able to kind of determine, like, what is that culture? Can you describe it? I know it might be hard.
Well, it's definitely a feeling, right? It's definitely a feeling. You feel the love from good people always around. And I'm a big energy person. And so I'm used to the city stuff where obviously Austin has a festival every week or a concert every week or something going on. And I think, again, Lafayette has its similarities to it. But Lafayette is very family. It's very homey. It's very, everybody come in and eat. Everybody wraps their arms around you. People are going to try to help you the best that they can. And really and truly, like, people do the very best with what they have and are appreciative of the things that they have. So when you talk about, like, culture of Lafayette, I would say for me, family, home, support, just love here. Because whether you meet a stranger or whether you meet somebody you know and they're from here, they're gonna treat you the exact same.
Yeah. I agree with that. I wasn't originally from Lafayette. I'm only originally from an hour north, but going north in Louisiana changes a lot. And you travel to train, so I'm pretty sure you can see that you just go an hour out of the range of Lafayette, and the vibe of any place you go to changes completely. You mentioned traveling, of course. How far do you travel, or how far have you traveled to train kids and professionals in basketball?
Tampa. Yeah,
wow.
Florida, California.
You get paid good to do that?
Yes, very good.
All right.
And coming up, some overseas stuff. So
overseas?
Yeah, so training some overseas pros. So it's been like really crazy the last couple of months for me, just in the development world outside of training at the facility. So people who are looking to come back, possibly to the WNBA, getting ready for the combine, the NBA combine. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think overseas. So like, how are they finding out about you? Like, what connections do you have in overseas? Are you spending a ton of advertisements overseas? Like, what is that like?
Well, no, I've been around the game since I was 6 years old, so I know a lot of people, and not just to the credit of my own. I'm gonna be honest. Like, again, I talk about my dad all the time. He runs one of the biggest AU programs in the state of Texas, so. He's put me in a lot of rooms, a lot of gyms to be able to showcase what I can do. But when you're good at what you do, people find you. And I've stuck to that since I was in high school in choosing my choice of playing at UTSA. Had the opportunity to go to Kansas State, Georgia Tech, West Virginia. And I was a firm believer in, one, like, you're going to be where you're supposed to be. But two, when you're good at what you do, people will find you. And so just staying consistent to what I do, not getting ahead of myself, not saying, I just want to train pros. I train my pro guys or girls the same way I do my young kids, my bitty kids, right? I have a 5-year-old that I train right now, just like I would a pro. Now, obviously, the drills are different, but with the same energy, with the same intent, with the same love. And so just agents who think that their clients fit what I do. Okay. I get the opportunity to work with those people.
Okay. So you say, overseas, is that like, is it English speaking countries, or do you
not necessarily? So China, Belgium is one that I'll probably be going to in the next couple of weeks.
Wow. So how do you combat the language barrier? Do you have to brush up on your?
I honestly don't know. Like, thank God for my iPhone, right?
Right.
I can use some translation, but I honestly don't know. This will be a first time for me, like really, really getting over there and teaching. But a lot of the kids or guys that I'll be teaching are Americans, and so they understand. It's just getting some workouts in with them before they have to transition back to the States.
Okay. So are they, because basketball is in the Olympic, it's an Olympic sport, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you train Olympians, or do you?
Not yet. Hopefully soon. Yeah.
I'm crazy. I'm surprised you don't do that already.
Not yet. Okay. There's a lot of good guys that have come before me that their clients are pretty loyal to them, and shout out to them. But as I continue to grow and go through my process, hopefully I'll get to be able to work with some. But the goal isn't to work with one that's already there. The goal is to
build them up to become Olympians.
Yes. Yes, it's easy to go train, and I say easy, but it's really not. But it's easy to go train somebody who's already there. To be able to develop someone to be the best version of themselves, but also be one of the top kids or players in the country, let alone the world, is a lot more special than going in and just like putting your hands on somebody who's already that.
Right, right.
I'm huge, and it takes a village, so I don't think I'm the only person that I'm like, it's just me. I think it takes a village, and there's a lot of good people that train around here even. That my kids kind of dibble and dabble in.
So you have local competitors.
Yes. And shout out to Marcus Ozeme, Brad Boyd, All those guys are incredible and are very good at what they do. Brandon Ellis, B. Ellis. And those are just guys that are coming off the top of my head. I know there's some other ones that are very, very good.
Yeah.
But this business is not like a selfish thing, right? We're in it for the kids. It's not about me. I played all the basketball that I'm gonna play. And the more that you can pour into the kids and serve the kids, obviously the better you're gonna be and the better your circle is gonna be.
So why, I mean, I guess this might be an obvious question, and I'm going to ask it anyway because that's what I do. Why kids? What is your passion about training kids? Like, because you mentioned that it's for kids, and like that seems to be like the 90% that you mentioned. Like, why? Why kids, and why not? I mean, I guess kids can be teenagers too, but like, what's the emphasis? Do you have a passion for teaching kids? Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, I'd say it's two parts. One, I'm just a kid from Austin that fell in love with a basketball.
Yeah.
Literally a ball. And that ball has, and I know we spoke about this before, that ball has changed my life. So where people go to the store, Academy, Dick's, and they see a $69.99 ball, there's no value on the experiences, the relationships, the people that I've met because of that ball, let alone the trips I've taken, the education I got, the jobs I've had. So there's two parts to that, right? The love, obviously, for the game is the biggest part, and the development piece of seeing kids learning and kind of navigating through their own processes with the ball, right? The second part is, again, I was a grassroots kid, right? My dad has put over 250 kids in college basketball from Division I to JUCO. And so being able to see the impact that he's had on their life through the game, and also seeing how the game transitions them to life, I don't think you can get a better translation of that. And so if I can use a $69.99 ball to teach a kid different movements, different ways to be successful that translate to the game of life ultimately, I mean, that's the real win, right? Okay. The development piece of basketball is good, but Ben, one day you're not gonna be able to play basketball anymore. And so you've got to be able to use the things, teamwork, communication, sorting through problem solving, to be able to navigate through the real game. And so, like I said, basketball is just a small piece, but I'm into servant leadership. I'm into serving those around me and helping those grow. And if basketball is the way that God wants me to use it, that's the vessel, then that's what I have to do.
Nice. Well, we're going to continue the conversation. I want to get my sponsors mentioned here. So if you're new here, then this would be new to you. And if you're not, if you're a loyal listener and watcher, enjoy it. So big thanks to Music Academy of Acadiana. They are one of our sponsors. They've been a sponsor for several years now, and we cannot thank them enough. Basically, if you want to learn music, it doesn't matter if you're young, old, experienced, beginner. If you're just curious about music, maybe check out the Music Academy of Acadiana. They teach students of all ages and styles, any instrument you want. If you want to improve your voice, they can help you with that. They have great teachers. They have a full studio full of different instruments. They have a in-house recording studio that's a separate business inside of the business. So once you learn your musical instrument and you improve and you do well, you can actually transition to actually recording a full-fledged album there, and they help you distribute it and everything because there's several local artists that use them for that recording studio. So it's an award-winning studio. So the Music Academy of Acadiana has all that. And basically, their goal is to make music lessons fun, educational, and to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. You can see their website on the screen right there, musicacademyacadiana.com, or just click the link on our caption in the video, and you can get sent to them. And then we have a relatively new sponsor on the podcast. He's not a new sponsor in the website of Developing Lafayette, but a new sponsor on the podcast, Chase Group Construction. Chase Group Construction is a general contractor and land developer that specializes in planning, design, and construction. As a design build company, they combine the cost awareness of contractor who knows current market pricing and of materials and labor, and the design process of an architect all in one company. So it's a great local company founded by Chase Landry. He's a great guy, really young guy for the business. Actually, there's a lot of young guys in the contracting business now, but he's one of them. Great guy. They do a great job of building. You've probably seen the Fat Pats in Broussard. His team built that. The Fat Pats in Bro Bridge, his team built that. There's several businesses around town that his company has designed and built. So, but Fat Pats is just one of them because, I mean, people love to eat here. So, but yeah, so ultimately they are a dream design develop firm. It's Chase Group Construction. You can check out their website, chasegroupconstruction.com. And yeah, so we really appreciate those sponsors because they help us keep doing what we do. Speaking of another dollar, another day, another dollar. That's how that works, you know? All right. So, man, I had a thought whenever we were talking about you training kids and all that. Is there a moment that you see a spark in a kid, or like you see something different in a kid that you can visually see that kid is going to be something one day? Or do you see sometimes where a kid isn't quite there in that spark? That's kind of a twofold question. One being, do you see the spark? And one time, are you there to kind of help develop a spark in someone? Like, tell me a little bit about like how deep do you go in training? Because basketball on the surface, it's a sport. You take the ball, you're supposed to put it in the net, get your goal, you know. But there's a character building aspect to basketball, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. But like when it comes to kids and the spark or not having the spark, what do you do and how do you approach those kids to help them better pursue that spark or develop that spark?
Okay, so the first question is the special
thing that you can see.
Yes. There are kids that just naturally have a knack for it, right? Obviously, there are people in the world that just have it. And it's hard to put a defining thing on it. It's just something that's special.
Yeah.
So are there kids that have that? Absolutely. That it comes way more natural, way more fluid. And you're just like, wow, obviously like the LeBrons, like the Kobes, like there's good guys in the league that are the best guys in the world, but everybody's not LeBron, Kobe, Mike. Right. So there are kids that are special, that just have a knack and they just understand, and you're just like, wow. And it's like the perfect storm when they're athletic and they can think the game and their skill matches up, and all those things combined are just like, wow, right? So when they have that. Second part, that's my job. Not necessarily to make everyone special, but to be good at what they're good at, right? Everybody's going to be good at something different. Everybody's not going to be the MJ, the LeBron, the Kobe. And those are not mine in order. I'm just using those because those are my top three. But I think everybody gets caught up in the scoring aspect of the game, especially guys. And that's not necessarily what makes people be great at basketball. I just think if you can play your role, if you can accept having a role, if you can commit to the work, you are obviously have a chance to be the best that you can be. Everybody's not going to play in the NBA. Everybody's not going to play in the WNBA. Everybody's not going to go overseas. Everybody's not going to play Division I basketball. But you can allow the game to teach you, and you can allow the game to take you as far as the game can take you. And I think once you commit to running your race, once you commit to accepting that you're not like everybody else, Your best days are ahead of you, and that's what makes you special.
Okay.
So there's two different kinds of special, right?
Right.
Just the basketball kind, and you're just naturally have it. And those who kind of navigate and run their own race and accept, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm good at, and I'm going to be great at it if I commit to the work.
And you need both types of people, obviously. In any industry, really. You have the people that are like let's say it's a salesperson. Yes. That person can sell like
water to a well.
Yeah. Like if they're a real estate agent, they can sell houses and they're the top producer in most months. And then you have the real estate agents that may never hit the top.
Yeah.
But they are great at customer service. They're great people pleasers, and they get their job done and they make a good living, but you hardly ever see their name up in the lights, essentially.
But they're good at what they do.
Right,
yes,
right.
Yes, but they're very good at what they do. And like, even for me, I try to, you asked how deep I go. I really want to understand, like with any kid that I have, their process of thinking. Because the more that I can dive into how they think, the more that I can teach the right ways to play the game and just the game in general. And so neither one makes anyone more or less. I just think if you're good at being good at what you do, you're obviously going to see success. Now, the measure of success is obviously going to be different for different people. But I think once you can define that, you're good. Like, what is success to you? And I ask kids that all the time. The first time that they walk in my gym, the first thing I ask them is, what do you want? Because if you tell me what you want, we can navigate to get to that. But if you don't know what you want, then we're just playing basketball.
What are some of the answers that you've gotten?
I want to play in the NBA. Okay. I want to play Division I basketball.
So it's pretty basketball centric?
Yes, it's pretty basketball specific.
Okay.
I want to go to North Carolina. I want to.
Why North Carolina? Because of Michael Jordan?
Yeah. Some of them like the colors. Believe it or not, they just like the baby
there you
blue.
Go.
I want to score this amount of many points. I want to play this many minutes. So I always try to understand their intentionality of coming to me, as opposed to just saying, I just want to play basketball. Because once we can put intention on it, we can set goals. We can set short-term, long-term. And I'm not saying that every single thing that you're telling me you want, obviously there's some reality in that, right? If you're 4'11" and you're saying you want to go to North Carolina, well, in the 12th grade, I'm like, well, you're probably not going to choose there. But it's my job to allow them to dream and chase their goals, but providing some sort of reality to it, because obviously we're playing in basketball, right? Athletics. It's a very serious business. And as much as we want to keep it playful and light, it's a very serious business. And I think that kind of fogs people a little bit, because it's like, I just put a ball in my hand, I just go to training, and that's it. Amber's going to solve all my problems. It's like, no, if you come to me once or twice a week, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not a magician. I don't do that. So it's some sort of commitment after and outside of that that's going to determine how far you ultimately go. I'm just there to provide structure and allow them to develop, teach them the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of blessed, and I have two facets. I've coached and I've trained. Those are two totally different things, right? Coaching the game and training skill sets are two completely different.
How so?
Coaching, you're teaching the game as a whole, right? You're trying to win the game, right? You have a team. You have to manage 5 kids, a lot more on the bench. And you have to be more strategic in the positions that you put your players in. Skill development is just the individual skill. Can you dribble with your right hand? Can you dribble with your left hand? Can you shoot pull-up jumpers? Can I grow your game to where you're shooting consistently from the 3? You're becoming more athletic. You're picking and choosing your spots. So it's a lot more specific on the skill side than it is detailed on the basketball side.
Okay,
and on the coaching side.
It's funny. I played kids basketball when I was younger. I say a lot younger. I was like probably 4th, 5th grade, give or take. And I would have loved to have a mentor like you, because me being a little person, I was not a little person, like a little person.
Yeah.
Like a small individual. I struggled so hard to like basketball. I love basketball in the backyard. Like as a kid playing with cousins and friends in a neighborhood, playing basketball was always fun. Playing basketball under the eyes of a coach on a court that there's a timer and there's scores keeping and there's an audience. I didn't quite fit. Let's just say that. I didn't have it there, Amber. I was not it. But it
just wasn't natural.
It was not. It was not. But a lot of friends of mine were naturally good at the basketball, just throwing it. Just the act of throwing a basketball into the hoop as a young kid was hard for me. The hoop is high. I had little bitty arms. I was not strong. And throwing that basketball that far from the free throw line, I never. My basketball would fall short of the hoop every time.
See, my question to you, if you came into my gym, would be, well, how often do you work on that?
See, there you go. I would have had to.
You would have had to come up with an answer for that.
I would have had to have a reality check. I'd be like, not very often.
That's it. Oh. But I have a lot of kids. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have a kid right now that just started playing basketball 2 or 3 years ago, and his development from there to now is unbelievable. There's obviously still some things that he has to learn, because the skill development piece is not the experience piece, right? Sometimes in life, in basketball, in whatever you're doing, you just got to go through it, and you learn from the experience that you get from going through it. Like, I can't tell you in 4 minutes, at the 4 minute mark, in 27 seconds, this is what's going to happen in the game. Right. No, I can't do that. Some things you just have to go through. Some things you just have to learn. And when you asked about the coaching and training piece, that's where a lot of our 3-on-3 play, our 4-on-4 play, our 2-on-2, like the kids are having to apply their skill development piece into the actual playing piece, and learn and explore and see how what they're learning and what they're getting to do in the skill development portion translates to the actual game. And so, like I said, sometimes the experience is all you need. And even him, like, that's the only piece that he's missing, is just the experience, just throwing the ball out, going to make mistakes, like learning through your mistakes and just keep going. But I have a lot of kids that come and just even through work, they've caught up to people who are just naturally talented and gifted.
And I guess if you are really passionate, let's say you're like a young kid like I was, and I was truly passionate about being better at basketball, but I wasn't quite where my friends were, because that's the truth. Let's say I actually had the passion to pursue basketball, and in my small person mind at that point could have foreseen that I would have been playing basketball in high school, college, maybe even professionally. I think that just having the understanding that you got to work harder to get there, that and if you have the right push and the right mentor, like, you can almost, in most cases, be better than the person that just they know that they're just naturally good at it. Because not being naturally good at something without practicing it and without improving it will only get you so far. It's like you came with the standard package of working it. But it's just interesting to I guess in any kind of area of life, is if you put in the work, usually the work will show the results.
Yes. And even like I said, and I always relate everything back to basketball. Just
I mean, that's how you.
How my brain thinks, and there's so many layers. It takes a really, really long time, Ben, to be good at basketball. It's not just something that you just wake up and it's like, oh, I'm good. You got to understand that even the best guys in the world, right, spend countless hours in the gym. The best guys in the world, right? So as a young kid, if you're not doing that already, you're behind. Now, the perfect storm of it would be you have the athleticism, you have the IQ, you have the skill set, but you also have to have the work ethic. Because if you're just here, like you're the best player around here, let's say, for example, you're the best player around here. Well, other kids are constantly going to get better. Other kids are constantly going to improve. Other kids are constantly working. And so if you just stay there, you're going to plateau. And not even here, around the country, right? There's only 351 Division I schools. And you can only hold 15 scholarships, right?
Wow.
Every school doesn't need 15 kids every year.
That's like a small number.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little over 1,000 is what they're going to recruit every year. A little bit over 1,000. So you're talking millions of kids trying to fit through that small window. And so you have to become a realist when it comes to what are you doing to separate yourself from all those who are just staying, or even the ones that are just working, you know? And so all I know is the work, right? You can catch up. You can make it an even playing field. Now, obviously, there's some things that come into play, right? If you're 5'6", and there's somebody
You're
who's
speaking to me at the moment, like I'm 5'6".
There's nothing you can do about that. Now, you can outwork them, you can work, but that's just life.
Yeah.
Right? There's always going to be somebody bigger, faster, stronger, taller, better, more skilled. But you can give yourself a fighting chance to compete if you do what you're supposed to do. And so if there's anything that I preach to my kids, it's the work, right? When you go up against that kid that's 6 foot and you may be 5'8", they're more athletic, you may be more skilled. What's gonna separate you guys, right? What is it gonna be? I honestly don't know. I don't know until you see. But I know if you don't work, I know what will separate you, and that's what they naturally have, right? So the work is always it has to be a thing.
Yeah,
it has to, especially if you come to me and you tell me what your goals are, and what your goals are don't align with how you're working, then it's easy for me to say, well, you won't accomplish that.
right.
It's easy for me to hold you accountable. It's easy for me to give you a reality check.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, a lot of what you're saying, and I keep saying this, is it's so applicable to other areas of life.
absolutely.
Putting in the work. Don't just expect things to happen, just because you may be good at it. Just putting in the work.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely. And you've had to do that. Even you, like you've done an incredible job with this and building this. And I know you had to start from somewhere. So to anybody that's even looking up to you, it's like, yeah, you see Ben now, but he's had to work his butt off to get to where he's at now. You're always everywhere, Ben.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If
I want to know what's happening in Lafayette, I just, I just gotta see. I just gotta
look.
call
I do my best, and I'm not the type of person to be braggadocious, as my pastor likes to say. I just say I don't like to brag. My wife, she'll say I'm bragging sometimes, but I talk to my wife different than I talk to everybody else. We're more comfortable with each other, but
yeah.
I know that being humble is an important trait, and so there was times though in the early days of developing Lafayette that I wasn't as humble as I am now.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's been a lot of work,
experience,
and there's still a lot of work to be had.
Yes.
Because even though I feel like I've came a long way, I feel like there's still so much that I can improve on. Yeah. And so I'm by no means, I've quote unquote made it. In my mind, I'm like trying my best.
But you've done an incredible job.
Well, I appreciate that.
You really, really have. You really, really have.
Well, I got something else I want to get on topic for. We have about 5 or so minutes.
Okay.
I want to mention your website real quick. I want to show that.
Okay.
So that those that are still watching, if you want to go to her website, I have the website pulled up right here.
94feetball.com.
Yeah. 9, the number 9, the number 4, ftbball.com. And you can see it on your screen there, but for those that are listening only, 9 for FT for feet, B, the letter B, and then the word ball.com. So 94 feet b-ball.com.
That's it.
And you can probably Google it. She
Yep.
probably has good
Yep.
SEO set up.
Maps,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. All right, so we're looking at the website right now, so
Okay.
you can see it's Premier Player Development. You can get started, and so you can learn a little bit more there. You can train, you can sign up. You have memberships.
Yes.
You got middle school and high school, elementary, so you can kind of see the rates there per how many classes you get and
month.
yeah.
And we recently just redesigned our website to make it more convenient for memberships. Like if you just want to come once a week, if you want to come to the groups, and our schedule allows for that. It's very, very open, and we have classes all week long.
Nice. And then I'm looking at private training, small group training for 2 to 6 participants.
Yes, yes.
And then the bottom of your page has all your information, so you can reach out, email, and all that good stuff. And you have a location set up there.
Yep.
It looks like you have a location. It's like centered on the Cajun Dome. So yeah, go to 94feetbball.com. Check her out. You have a team of people too, right?
Yes, I have Anthony right now. Anthony Paris is my head trainer for my younger groups, and he does an incredible job. He played college basketball as well. High energy, knows his stuff. I mean, Anthony is amazing. So even if you can't get in with me, get in with Anthony. He does just as good of a job, if not better, than me, you know. And he's looking to build his clientele as well. So
awesome.
Get with Anthony. We call him AP. So get with AP.
Yeah. All right. Now, I saved this for last because I didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Uh-oh.
All right. So this is borderline. It's not political, but I guess in the sense it can be taken one way or the other and all that good stuff. Right. So in basketball, and you kind of touched on it earlier, and you made sure to preface that there was no particular order. And I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
All right. So there's a term that a lot of people have been using in the past couple of years called the GOAT, or GOAT, greatest of all time. And the debate is, who's the GOAT? And I think primarily the two top right now are considered Michael Jordan and
LeBron James.
LeBron James, yes. I had Kobe on my mind.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Shout out Kobe.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
So can you divulge what you consider, who you consider the greatest of all time basketball player?
Okay, that's a very, very tough question.
It
but
is.
I take into account a bunch of different things, right?
Okay.
Obviously who I got to see, right? Because I can only go off that. I used to watch a lot of old games. Pete Maravich, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson. I used to watch a bunch of those guys too. But when it comes to what I consider to be the GOAT, obviously I look at why we play the game, and that's to win. And if that was just it, it would be Bill Russell, obviously, because he has 11 championships. But impact, I mean, just competitiveness, ability to will others to win. Those are my favorite players. People who can impact the game without touching the ball. People who can impact the game without scoring all the points. People who can impact the game with just their presence.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody's done it better than Michael Jordan.
Oh, there we go.
I don't think anybody's done it better than Michael Jordan. However, the things that LeBron has done, and I recently just got to see him play, again, I mean, specimen is, he's like a machine, literally. His body, his height, his athleticism, the way that he plays is insane to me. But he's close. Okay. He's close. Kobe, I don't think I can put him above Kobe yet.
Yeah.
Just because his Kobe, man, he's as close as Michael is. I think we're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
But nobody's done it better than Michael Jordan.
You know, whenever I was a kid, whenever I was in basketball, playing basketball, and then of course backyard basketball, my number one like person to look up to in basketball. And I think it was probably because of that era with the Space Jam movie, the original Space Jam movie. That was the best.
Yeah.
It was the most inspirational thing to watch Michael Jordan play for the Chicago Bulls, and just, just the feeling, like, I feel like basketball was on such a high in the mid to late 90s that it's still high up now, but like
more competitive,
it's different.
The feel was different. And my godfather played for the Spurs, and so we used to always get season tickets. So we used to always go to the games. He was actually the first Spur to ever get his jersey retired.
Wow.
So I got to see Mike play once, and it was incredible.
Just I've never got.
I even got on some Jordans today.
Look at that! See, look, I've never got to watch any of those guys play in person, but watching the videos, I mean, some of these videos are like almost late 80s, early 90s. And I'm pretty sure they all can do it. But specifically, the videos of Michael Jordan, because they're so archivable and you can look them up, that it literally appeared as if he was truly flying in the air. That logo of him, and your shirt kind of makes me think that it's him, but it's not. Yeah. But the logo, the Michael Jordan logo with him, like with the basketball and his legs are kind of like, that one right there.
That's it.
It's the most iconic thing, and just that's what you see. Like when you see him like dunk, like that's that, and you just get like this weird feeling, like, wow, that superhuman. It's what it felt like. And I'm like, dude, that's the player I'd like to be.
And even the standard when he was on your team, like you knew that you had to be your best. You knew that you had to be on time. You knew that somebody was working harder than you, and so you needed to do what you needed to do. It's just like having those people around and in your circle that pushes you to be your best self. Yeah. And so I think there's nobody better than him. Nobody.
All right.
At least not right now.
That is awesome. Well, Amber, that's all I have, and I really appreciate you coming back on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are awesome.
Look, no, I can't tell you. You're awesome. What you're doing for young kids and developmentally, I can't touch. Yeah. I showcase local businesses, and I know a lot of people say that's great, and I feel like I'm doing good, but when you impact kids, that's different. Like that changes the world ultimately, because if you can help a kid improve their lives, even if they don't pursue basketball later, just what you're doing mentally, and just having them to provide focus and energy into an outlet that is safe for them. That right there is awesome all by itself. So kudos to you for pursuing that.
Thank you.
But yeah, check out her website. I'm going to put it up on the screen one more time, 94feetbball.com. Just Google it, 94 feet player development, and you'll find her. And it may not be her you train with. It may be. Either way, check them out. And they're a locally owned company. So it's great to have you on, and I look forward to seeing the success that you continue to have.
Yep. Thank you so much, B.
All right,
You're
Amber.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Well, guys, that's it. Y'all have a great one. It's a Friday, best day of the week. And if you want to listen to the podcast through the audio only, because you don't want to sit through an hour video, I don't blame you. I can't sit through watching Joe Rogan for 4 hours. I like the clips. So you can listen to the audio format too. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the other places that, the 31 different flavors, like, Baskin Robbins. So it's all there. You can listen to it in your car while you're working. Either way, hopefully you enjoy these podcasts. I enjoy them. So
and let's do this, B. For whoever listens to the podcast, DM us directly and we'll give you a free month of training.
There you go. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
But you got to listen to the podcast. Is there any way to find that out? How you listen? Who listens to it? No.
I don't know. I can't see names or like specific, but if that person is listening, obviously, like if they're at the end now listening, like they heard that part, they're legit. Like, they're legit. Yeah. So if they're listening now and they want that free month.
Yes. DM me at 94 Feet B-Ball on Instagram, or you can get with us on 94 Feet Player Development on Facebook. And then just tag who interviewed me and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
I'll get you guys taken care of.
So and my name is Ben Power. So if you need that tag, mention me. Say that you heard it from the Developing Lafayette podcast, the T podcast. All important notes. Get your month in, and
that's it.
Go try her out.
That's it.
All right. Well, Amber, that's great. Let's see if that works out for you. I think it will, because there's still a few people listening. So yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, dude. You do the same.
I look forward to seeing how you do.
All right.
All right, guys. That's it.